Hi, it's Dan here from Flexxable, and today I'm going to talk about broad targeting with your ads and your lead gen offer and why it works so well with one small catch. Let's dive in. Okay, so I want to tell you about a little experiment we're running. We've been running this offer for a little while now, and I wanted to tell you about the process that we used in order to kind of scale. When we start, what we want to do is we want to have fairly narrow audience targeting when we're setting our campaigns up, okay? Because we want to be able to essentially season the conversion API, the lead form or whatever it is. And then after that, we want to move to a broad audience, okay, once we've got everything firing and going well. And that usually happens around 500 conversions. And then what we do then is take what's working, our creative and our hook and our angles, and put it into the broad audience. And that's when we can really start scaling. But there's a caveat to this, okay? And not many people talk about this because they don't take the time to be able to figure out whether or not there's a difference between lead quality with the narrow audiences and the narrow interests versus the big broad audience where you're just letting Facebook or whatever ad network you're using. It's a free-for-all. They're just trying to get as many leads as they can, right? Because cheap leads don't always necessarily mean good quality leads, okay? Sometimes you might want to pay a bit more, pass them on to the client and charge more for them, okay? It really just depends. The caveat, and I always want you to remember this when you're running your campaigns, is that you must try and get information from your clients about where the best possible type of leads are coming from. If you picture yourself as a real estate investor, right? And you're trying to get properties where people are trying to get rid of property at a good price, then you might not want to show your ads in central London and Chelsea and Mayfair. Okay, you probably want to be showing your ads in areas where there's more likely that people want to get rid of their homes fast. And that's a very simple explanation there, but not a lot of people do this, right? If they run broad, then they go broad across the whole of the country or the whole of the United States or the whole state that they're in, if it's like California or whatever, right? But if you speak to your clients, they're going to tell you where the best quality leads are coming from and where they're doing all their installs or where they're getting their closes, where they're converting clients, all right? So if you're running your kind of narrow audiences to be able to get really good cost per leads to begin with and seed your campaign, and then you're moving to broad, make sure you don't make this mistake, all right? So it's a little caveat on what Graham's going to talk about today. What we're doing here works super well. I think you should try and run with it, but make sure that you speak to your client first before you do this, all right? We call it the 60-30-10 rule, all right? The 60%, the most important thing you're doing with your campaigns is going to be your people you're advertising to. Essentially, you want people that are closer to converting than people that are, living in an area that's never going to convert, all right? That's the most important thing. The next 30% comes down to your offer, how good that hook, that offer is. And the last 10% comes down to how good you are at kind of spinning your creatives, coming up with catchy images and, decent headlines and all of that type of stuff, all right? So make sure you focus on this and you can't go wrong. With that, I'll pass you over to Graham, who's going to show you what we did, why it works so well, and why you can do it yourself and why it's cheaper to go with a broad audience, all right? So enjoy.
Hey guys, thanks Dan. So yeah, guys, this is just a little look inside our ad account, which I know obviously everyone loves to see inside someone else's ad account. And this is just basically like the test we kind of ran. So this campaign's been going probably for about a good couple of months now, I would say. I think lifetime probably spent about 5K this account. So it's a decent amount. We've had about 16,000, well, almost 17,000 link clicks, which is a lot of data. This is an engagement campaign just for retargeting, so ignore that. We've probably got around about 3,000, 4,000 leads, maybe even 5,000 there. So just pop in here. There we go. These are the dates. So this is the dates where the test ran. So as you can see, we had been running ads in kind of solo and home improvement audiences, which have normally been pretty good for us, worked historically well, probably getting in leads for around about the £1.80, £1.90 mark. These are just specific postcodes now, so it's got a little bit more expensive than before we were running it. I think it was down at 70p before when it was just all geos open. Now we're doing it in specific postcodes to try and get better results for our clients. So obviously it's a bit more narrowed down anyway. So as you can see, we spent probably in this test for £165 on these interests. As you can see, the CPMs. Let's do it like for like actually. So we spent a bit more on the broad, and this is just purely just going to women under 64 in our kind of solar postcodes, basically the postcodes where our client deals with. Spent a bit more in there, but as you can see, quite comparative. CPM pretty much exactly the same, which is actually surprising. I thought it'd be a bit cheaper and broad, but it's exactly the same. But then when you start looking at the link clicks, got almost double the link clicks, and obviously we're getting a lot cheaper cost per click as well, which will really help obviously the leads as well. CTR, I think it's about 0.5% better. So that's quite a considerable jump in this click-through rate. This is obviously quite a broad offer as well. This is for like our kind of slash your bills offer to get them into our database. That's quite a considerable jump. And when you come and look at the leads, I mean that's quite the difference there. Almost half the price going to a broad audience rather than narrow targeting. £2 compared to £1.39. And this is purely just taking off the interests and just going broad. And the beauty of this way of doing it is you just need a bit of information in the account. You need your pixel to be seasoned a little bit. You need Facebook to know kind of like who you're kind of targeting and what the conversions are you're looking for. Obviously, after like about 5k spend, 17,000 clicks, Google's going to have a very good idea of who wants this content and who's going to be clicking on it. And with about 5,000 leads, Facebook's got a lot of data to go on who's going to convert. And that's why going to a broad targeting when you've kind of got that data in, especially if it's a broad offer. If it's not a broad offer, it might be a little bit more difficult. But if it's a kind of a broad offer that, anyone in the country is may be interested in, it's really good idea to go to a broad targeting um, when you've got that data in. And this used to be commonplace probably 3 years ago before the iOS 14 came in. We'd always be running broad or audiences after a little bit of data came in. Obviously, iOS 14 happened, and then it became a little bit less predictable. The targeting because Facebook had less visibility off-site. So obviously we're doing lead forms now as well. Facebook has complete visibility of who is converting because it's all on their app, all on their site. So there's no blindness at all. So that again helps with the broad audience. If you were doing it off-site and doing the CAPI back, it'd still probably be good. It wouldn't be as good at targeting, I wouldn't say, because there's still errors in the CAPI that we see constantly. But yeah, I mean, if you're running lead ads or if you're running any sort of ads on Facebook, you've got a decent amount of data in. I would say you want to be having at least kind of like 1,000 to 2,000 clicks and at least over 500 conversions to run broad accurately. You can just run a broad campaign from the start and do well. That's not unheard of. We've done that before, but I think after the iOS 14, obviously a couple of years ago, Facebook, it's just better to try and give Facebook as much data as possible before going broad. It is up to you. I find the best kind of like turning point is around about the 1,000 to 2,000 clicks, 500 conversions, and you can go broad, and Facebook will basically find the right people for you. It's an epic software for that. As you can see with our stats, kind of shows what you can kind of do. And even if you can get like 10% better results, that's often means quite a lot of money in the bank to you. So I hope this was helpful. And I know it's always fun to look inside other people's ad accounts. And we try and do that a lot here. If you have any questions at all, pop something in the chat. If you like the video, give us a like. And yeah, if you want to see more like this, then please subscribe to our channel. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, so taking back over from Graham, I hope you've enjoyed this video today. I hope it's something you can take and take yourself and run with. It works really well. It's a really good way to get cheap leads, but also good quality cheap leads. If you've liked this video, please give us a thumbs up. Comment below if you've got any questions for myself or Graham, and lastly, subscribe to this channel so you'll be the first to know when we create new videos like this. I'll speak to you soon.